Yo, what is good, everybody? It's your boy, Golden Falls, Golden What If, whatever you want to call me, and I am back. I am back with part 3 of What If Deku had an item enhancement quirk. And if y'all enjoy, make sure to show some love by leaving a like, leaving a sub, leaving a comment down below, all that good stuff. And like I said, I hope y'all enjoy, and I'm not going to waste that much more of your time. And we're going to get right into the what if. Let's get it. Izuku Midoriya is finally ready for his internship. But yes, this internship is a lot different than many others because he is a support hero. He didn't go down the line of an actual pro hero. Yes, support heroes are heroes, but they're more of a helping type of hero, like I said before. Izuku, though, would arrive at Sir Night-Eye's agency. His goal there is to stop one person, or actually find one person by the name of Overhaul, and shut down the Shia Hazzaikai forever. During the next couple days, he would speak with Sir Night-Eye, with Mirio, and learn as much information as possible. And he would begin to make some sort of radars to more or less try to track down where this person can be, and how to even search for him in general. He would begin to try practically everything, anything he could possibly think of. He begins to regulate, enhance anything he possibly can to try and triangulate the location of the Shia Hazzaikai, and through a ton of different means of GPS and location systems, he actually is able to triangulate the relative location of where the base could possibly be. And on top of that, they begin to send out some scouts and some people out there, including Izuku himself, to the field to check out where this location could possibly be. After a bit of searching, that location would kind of be narrowed down. It's a bit of a weird area, and it seems to be kind of covered up relatively well, but according to officers, there's a building that hasn't really been lived in a long time. But if you look around, there's slight maintenance here or there around the area, but at the same time, there's some places in the area around the building that look extremely old, as if no one's touched it in a long time, seemingly purposely at that. So Izuku would be very keen on where this location is, as he begins to just indicate other places as well, just in case. That's until he hears what happens with Mirio Togata. Mirio actually runs into someone kind of frightening. He runs into Overhaul himself. Now this is a situation that luckily Mirio is able to get himself out of, but there's a little girl that Mirio is keen on, and it seems as if she's in some sort of plan of all of it. It's very, very bone-chilling. Izuku would get this information, and since they know exactly where to go in terms of the base, at least to an extent, he begins working with everybody, getting gear ready for every single person he could possibly think of. He begins to work with this gear and even gets some more spy equipment to more or less look ahead in terms of this siege. He wants to make sure everybody is well equipped and well aware of what's going on next. Izuku would give gear to Mirio that would enhance his powers even more. And on top of that, actually give him some clothing that won't completely fall off, which is definitely a plus. And this clothing would even benefit him in various different ways, like durability, and even giving certain aspects of his own quirk additional strengths because of his item enhancement. On top of that, he would give Mirio some sort of ring. This ring would actually store something for him. It would be a way for him to actually utilize his quirk to switch in and out of suits, and if he decides to eventually take on a weapon, maybe a weapon that would benefit him, which Izuku doesn't really know what that would be, he would be able to switch it out using this ring as well, which is definitely beneficial in the long run. Izuku would work with Sir Night-Eye to get Night-Eye some more equipment as well for himself, for the sidekicks he has, and for many, many, many more people, especially in different agencies. He actually works on Melissa's stuff as well here and there, and ships off a bit of a gauntlet, or the gauntlet that she made and he more or less enhanced to basically allow her to have more durability and be able to utilize One for All, in which Izuku doesn't really know much about, but utilize One for All to a greater extent. With that said, though, the problem at hand deals with Sir Night-Eye's agency and dealing with Overhaul and everyone there. So they begin to kind of collide with other agencies. Night-Eye's agency, Ryukyu's agency, and many others, and they begin to combine, including the people of the big three, and they all need stuff to be either enhanced or allow their plan to go relatively smoothly. They understand to a certain extent how Overhaul's quirk works, and how a lot of his gang has a lot of unique quirks as well. So needing Izuku to utilize that idea in terms of certain effects are definitely going to be beneficial. So Izuku is up for probably all night to multiple days working on this. Not able to go back to UA just quite yet, and in between his time he is working on stuff that he needs to work on for his classroom and for UA itself, but he keeps working. Eventually it's all comes together. He has a ton of equipment out for everybody, and everybody is now benefiting from his item enhancement quirk, but Izuku is completely exhausted. There was no intention for him to be on the front line. He's just hoping for the best. He made equipment for them to utilize. He even had Meihatsube make some equipment and actually allow him to utilize that equipment for free, as long as he will help her with something else later. But still, he's able to help as much as possible, and he's still able to more or less do as much as possible in the long run. So when they all go out for that final test, the fight with the Shia Hazaikai, he's waiting patiently. He's waiting, and he's looking on the spy cameras he made and continues to control. He continues to watch them and waits. He's worried though, very worried. He's not sure how well they're going to do, and frankly, he doesn't know how well his equipment really is going to do in the line of work like this. But luckily, and beautifully enough, it would work really well. The main reason and the big off-guard idea that would be going into this hideout invasion would be all the unknowns. But with Izuku, you can clear up so many different unknowns in a matter of minutes. His equipment alone would allow and set up for that. The spy cameras, everything that he makes, and everything that Meihatsume makes, and that he can make even better, would set them up for an amazing outcome. We're talking about people and heroes that would struggle initially don't struggle this time around. On top of that, they don't have the League of Villains to deal with. But yes, this may be so, and yes, this may be completely and entirely true. But on the other side of things, and on the other area of Japan, at Hosu City, there's a bit of an excursion going on. An invasion of Nomus and many more. But luckily, the person that's there in Melissa is able to handle most of it, especially with her usage of One for All, and also the advanced gauntlet that she has on her. She is more than prepared to handle things at Hosu City, especially in terms of the hero killer. On top of that, we have people like Todoroki and many others that would still be there and would be able to help out in the long run as well. So it's pretty apparent that these items and these support items make things that much easier and that much more fluid for the people around, and also for Izuku and the people that are surrounding him. The agencies and stuff like that will have insane benefits because of Izuku, insane benefits because of his support items, and that's just flat out the truth. Izuku, on the other hand, though, once everything is cleared up and everything is safe and sound, he would actually meet the little one that Mirio was talking about. After actually defeating and capturing Overhaul without really much of a hitch, and with some of the more advanced capture items that Izuku has made, being that of this slow effect and also this binding effect, Izuku is able to help so many different people, or at least help with the entrapment of Overhaul. So eventually he would meet the little girl that the fuss was so far about, and that or so crazy about, and which is Eri, who has some insane quirk that was being utilized for the villain side. This does worry Izuku just a little bit. Frankly, if his equipment get off or go to some other people and some other villains, that could definitely be something that's bad. I mean, if he allows the villains to get some of his own equipment, it could backfire on the heroes. Luckily, he could just make insane equipment for the heroes to counteract it, but still, that's definitely a worry he's thought about. Can he even retract these enhancements he makes from his own equipment? He's not really 100% sure about that. He's not actually sure at all. But hopefully it doesn't really come out to be that way. Hopefully he doesn't have to deal with that in the near future. Still though, everything would be wrapped up. Luckily Tenya Ida doesn't, kick the bucket in this scenario, but everything would wrap up and Izuku would head back to UA actually a little bit earlier than usual, but still, he would head back to UA, and Night Eye would make it clear that he always has a place at Sir Night Eye's agency. His utilization of equipment, his eye for more or less seizing upon situations for their own benefit, and on top of that, seizing the counterability of certain quirks is something that Izuku, for one, has always had, but also he can utilize in his item enhancement quirk. But after some time, Izuku would head back to UA and get right back into support and making items. He begins to speak with Mei Hatsume about new items she's making, in which it's a more or less a suit of armor that she's been working on for a while now. She wants enhancements on it, but she wants it to be perfect before anything else can be situated. Plus, they do need someone to wear it, so it's kind of hard for them to make these final adjustments without knowing who will wear that suit of armor. With that said though, Izuku continues to work with people like Melissa and many others. Mostly Melissa, because there is some sort of connection there that they have and that they've known each other for a little bit now, and she's always been pretty supportive of what he's doing. On top of that, she's actually got a pretty good mind for support items herself. But Izuku would continue making support items and making these support things for actually their final exam. Izuku's final exam is to make these other heroes some support items. And more specifically, he'll be deemed one group of people. And those two are Melissa and also Bakugo. And who's their opponent? The one and only All Might. Izuku has to plan, script, and figure out whatever he can do to give them an advantage against All Might himself, and he begins to build as much as possible, tampering and fixing up with Bakugo's explosive gloves and actually giving them more effects than you could possibly imagine. His goal is to slow down All Might. That is what he wants. If they can slow him down, they could beat him. Because the mindset for Izuku is not escaping, is not surviving, it's defeating. So he begins to make equipment that would allow them to slow him down slowly but surely, a lot dealing with ice cold weather. Then he sits in multiple freezers, ironically enough, making rings, making other equipments, and adjusting Bakugo's and Melissa's equipment to allow them to just chip at All Might slowly but surely. But will this work in the long run? Will All Might even be defeated against Melissa, someone who he's training at this moment, and Katsuki Bakugo, the young prodigy with an explosive quirk? Well, you'll have to find out in the next part of What If Deku Had an Item Enhancement Quirk. And if you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, make sure to leave a sub, make sure to leave a comment down below, all that good stuff, and hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later.